Let's begin in Bridge and select the first two images to open in Photoshop. I'll select the first one, hold down the Command key on Mac, Control key on Windows, and select the second one, and then choose File and Open, or use the keyboard shortcut Command-O on Mac or Control-O on Windows. So images open up by default as tabs in Photoshop. You can click on the Document tab in order to view that document. You can also click and drag to reorder the documents if you want to, and you can also cycle through your open documents by using the keyboard shortcut Control-Tab, and that's the same shortcut on both Mac and Windows. Now, if I want to view multiple images at one time, then I'll use the Window menu and Arrange, and now I can tile these vertically or horizontally. I can choose from the options here. You'll notice some of them are grayed out, and that's because I only have 2 documents open. If I had more documents open, then I'd have more options here. If I want to, I can also just choose to tile them, and Photoshop will just tile them for me. Now, to return to viewing one image at a time, I can choose Window, Arrange, and then Consolidate all to tabs. Now, some people prefer to have their images float and not be tiled. So to do that, you just click on the title bar for the image and just drag it out. And now we can see that it's floating. This can be very handy if you're working with 2 monitors and you want to drag an image over to a secondary monitor. The only problem is if you click on the other image that is tabbed, well, then the floating one will be hidden. So if you ever need to find that, you can go back under the Window menu, and then at the very bottom, you can select the other document that's open that you can't see. Another way to do that, however, would be to go to Window, Arrange, like we did a moment ago, and choose to consolidate all to tabs. Now, if you wanted to float all of your windows, you could choose Window, Arrange, and then Float All in Windows. If I wanted to group these 2 floating images together, I can drag one right up to the other one until I see that blue line, and that would dock those 2 together. Again, this might be handy if you were, say, for example, taking these to a secondary monitor. If you wanted to dock them again as tabs, just drag them up near the top. You'll see that blue cyan line all the way around the preview area, and just release the mouse. Now, if you do prefer floating documents, because by default, when you close all the documents, the next ones you open will by default go back to opening by tabs, but you can choose the preferences here under Workspace, and then disable the option to open documents as tabs. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave that on. Now, in order to close your documents, you can either click on the little X mark in the title bar, or you can choose File and then Close. Use the keyboard shortcut Command-W on Mac or Control-W on Windows, or if you have multiple documents open and you want to close them all, just choose Close All. So when working with multiple open documents, I prefer organizing them as tabs at the top of the window, and then I just use Control-Tab to quickly cycle through them. But depending on your workflow, you may prefer to float your documents instead.